Accelerating digital to enhance the customer and employee experience is a dominant priority of corporate and transaction bank executives, according to the latest CGI Voice of Our Clients research. The annual research has also found that regulation and security remain dominant trends.
Well, earlier I spoke to George Schindler, who's the president and CEO of CGI, and I began by asking him to explain in more detail what was discovered in this latest research.
We do this every year, and what we've seen, particularly in the corporate and transaction banking sector, is that the pace of digitization was actually a bit slower than in the other banking sectors. And a large part of that was due to the very high-touch, in-person interactions with customers that's in the nature of this business. But that all changed with the pandemic. The pandemic forced closures that caused a real acceleration of digital, particularly in corporate and transaction banking. In fact, 97% of our respondents cite having an enterprise strategy for their digital interactions versus 67% a year ago. That's a big jump in just 1 year. Now, of course, to be successful in implementing those digital strategies, they must focus on the customer-centric operating models. And this is going to require end-to-end modernization, including areas like adoption of cloud, automation, cybersecurity, and the like. Now, it's very important to note that this includes digital tooling for now these remote workers.
Now, for those executives who told you they're getting value from their digital strategies, what do you think they have in common?
Well, in fact, they do have quite a lot in common. And we see this as digital leaders across many industries, the common attributes that distinguish the digital leaders from those others. And quite frankly, in this area, what our research showed is the most significant attribute for corporate and transaction banking is their ability to align their business and IT priorities. So when you look at the research, 86% of respondents indicate close alignment of their priorities for the digital leaders, compared to only 52%. So just over half of those in the building or launching phases. Now, we have some examples that we could talk through of how we're doing that, and one of those examples are what we're doing with HSBC. They're the world's largest trade bank, as everybody here at Sibos is aware. And through tight alignment of their business and IT, we are working with them to improve agility of their global trade and receivables business through process improvements, but of course enabled by a refresh of the underlying technology. And in just the first year of the collaboration rollout, we've worked together to change systems that have reduced processing times for guarantee issuances by nearly 1/3 and enhanced the client and staff digital experience in the process. So it's a great example of what we're talking about here for a digital leader.
Let's broaden things out, because I'd like to know what you found are the top recommendations uncovered by your research to actually help bank executives accelerate their digital journeys.
Yeah, based on this research, overall, we recommend executives focus their investments on, overarching, enhancing the customer journey. And there's really three specific areas that come out in the research. First, the alignment of business and IT organizational priorities, as we just talked about, on the central purpose of serving the customer. Second is focus on investing in technology with this customer journey purpose in mind. Often this requires new systems, applications, and processes, but this will equip and empower employees to deliver on the exceptional customer experiences that they want. And then the third item is really to deploy applicable innovations quickly across all the customer touch points. And this serves to accelerate digitizations for both customers and employees. And looking for those opportunities to make that applicable innovations is something that digital leaders do. So, for example, like most governments around the world, in response to the pandemic, the United States Congress established something called a Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, for affected small businesses. And what this required is loans through banks for the government. And we worked with two specific U.S. banks to quickly adapt to address unprecedented volumes of these loan requests. And with these clients, what we did is we implemented new business processes and technologies to automatically pull loan applications into a queue, validate the loan data, and then submit the loan applications without having manual touch points. This required the alignment and enhanced systems and processes and applied innovation that I just talked about. Naturally, the result of this new digital service was improved speed, better customer services, and all at a reduced cost. So it's a great example of what we're talking about in accelerating digital journeys.
And given that regulation and security are a top concern, how do you think that banks accelerate digital while also managing risk?
You know, what's interesting is when you look at our research, executives who accelerate digital also accelerate some of the risk factors like regulatory and security priorities. They do it in tandem. In fact, among those executives producing the expected results, i.e. those digital leaders, 83% are more responsive to data privacy laws and regulations compared to just 74% of those that are building or launching phases. Now, of course, that means everybody's looking at risk, but those that are accelerating digital are actually managing risk in a higher level. And they're building that risk mitigation directly into their digital customer journeys. What that means is they must be built into those enterprise strategies we just talked about right from the beginning. A good example of this is just, it is absolutely key to plan for successful and secure cloud migrations before you start executing the move to the cloud, as an example.
Well, sadly, we're going to have to leave it there. But George Schindler, President and CEO of CGI, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy Sibos 2021.
Thank you.